shadows, they follow you. My shadows, they follow you in the darkness. In the
Hey, hello. I'm good. I'm good. Hold on. Can you
There we
hear
go.
me? Okay.
Yeah, let me make sure.
Okay, sweet.
Hello, Two Star and Hyric. Is the audio coming through for the viewers? Let's see. And also, I need to make sure that your audio levels are not too
Yeah,
low. Okay.
I'm using a different mic, so
Oh, that's good. All right.
and
It seems like it's coming through. All right.
okay, cool. Yeah, let me open the Zoom so I can see what you're doing. Hold on. Let me just close some stuff on mine. Um, right. Okay.
All right. So, give a quick introduction of who you are.
Oh, are we already live?
Yeah. I,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we are. Yeah. I'm Adam. Um, I'm also on the podcast with Ms. And I'm a game developer as well. I'm working on Spookware at the moment. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much who I am. I guess you might know me by the game No Players Online, because that's I think my most famous game. But yeah, that's me. Um, yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I want to talk to you about you studied game design in like at a
Hmm.
university, and like that's really interesting because I feel like me and like most people, at least in the U.S., have like a very negative view of like game design colleges. I guess because like weird
Hmm.
ads and stuff, and like it always just seems like kind of like this, thing for like I don't know. They exploit kids who don't know any better to like, hey, you can study. It's like, it's just like
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
games, but
It
you're
it
making
sounds
them and
it's
getting paid.
yeah, it sounds like a scam. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and I mean, I guess it also sounds like a scam in Europe for sure. But
I see.
I don't know. It's like I think it really depends on the school. I was lucky to go to. I was lucky for two reasons. One, I didn't have to like pay for the school, or at least like compared to the US, I had to pay like 1,000 or something
Mm-hmm.
for per semester, which is um, yeah, that's peanuts compared to what I think most American people pay for their school. So
Yeah.
it's definitely that's definitely something to take in consideration. But also, the school that I went to had like a pretty good track record.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of
Um,
it? The school?
it's a digital arts and entertainment. But yeah, like even if you like look up the site, it kind of already looks like a scam. It doesn't look like a site for like a school, you know. But they do have like a pretty good track record. I remember when I started studying there, they showed us like a presentation at the beginning, and they said like, oh yeah, like 80% of the people or something that graduate get like a job in the industry within like 2 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's still true or if that was even true at the time.
I
But
wonder if it's like testing jobs or something, because I hear those are the easiest to
yeah,
get.
it could be. It could be. I know that the people from my class that graduated, I think maybe I think from like the 8 people that graduated or like the 10-ish people that graduated in my class. I might have those numbers wrong, but I think like 5 of them are working in games right now, or like 4. So definitely like not 80%, but still pretty okay. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, it was like a new course as well. They mostly have like an art course and a coding course. And the one I did, it was like a new course that they added like the year before I joined, which is just like an indie course, um, which is pretty lucky, I guess,
It's like
because I, I
major
I wanted to
independent game
do.
development production.
Yeah, exactly that one. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like they have like a good track record, but I think like the reason why that is because it's just like very insanely hard. It's like 80% of the people that sign up, like they leave within the first like 2 months or
Mm.
something. So it's like, oh yeah, like 80% of the people that graduate get like jobs and stuff, but like 10% or like 5% of the people that sign up actually graduate. So
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a kind of it's like a twisted number, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not super familiar with like game schools in other countries and stuff, but I feel like the general vibe is either a game school is like they let you pass too easily, and
Mhm.
then there's like no jobs, or they just throw so much workload on you. I know that Gnomon or Newman or something. There's a game school called that in I think it's in California. That's also it's like
Legit.
the same as my school. They just like give an insane amount of work, and if you're somehow able to like live through that, then I guess you'll get a job. But it's like yeah, I don't know. I read in Rise of the Video Game Zinesters, which is a really good book by Anna Anthropy.
Rise of the
Um,
Game Studios.
I think it's Anna Amphibia. I hope I'm not like miss. Um, but it's a really good book because it goes in a lot into like games and stuff. And I remember one quote in it is like, "Oh, game schools are really good at like preparing you to burn out." Where it's like they'll just give you like an insane amount of work, and then and
Mhm.
then they filter the students that are somehow able to live with that, and then like they work in the industry for 4 years until they burn out and then quit, I guess.
Mhm.
Which is, that's it's a pretty extreme stance to take, but I don't, I think it's a bit true, at least. Um, I don't know. With the school that I went to, at least like my gripe with the school that I went to, aside from just like the workload being too insane, is also
Mhm.
they didn't really like focus on like the creative aspects as much. It was really just like, hey, these are like hard skills.
Mhm.
You need to do like coding very well, and you need to do like art very well, and we'll just give you like a bunch of tasks for it until you get it. Um, but like especially for a course that was like indie focused, I don't think there was like a good preparation. I was like lucky, I guess,
Mhm.
to like do games and stuff while I was doing the school thing. But it's not like I think I made maybe at school I made like 1 or 2 games or maybe 3 games, which is like not enough, you know.
Mhm.
That's like
Yeah.
it doesn't really. They're also not. It's like super like um it's not they're not giving you like preparing you to get like a brand or something, or like they're not preparing you to like realize what you want to make. It's just like here's how to just like very plainly to the work to make a video game. But it's
Yeah.
like that's not enough, especially in indie. Like if you don't know what you want to make, or like have any like real experience making games, and just knowing how to make them, then you really can't like make games. And I think that's true. I think for most people that graduated, at least in like my class and like my year, um, um, it's just like they don't really like prepare you for like life as an indie dev. They
Mhm.
just like prepare you to how to work with Unity and like stuff, and most of them they don't really know how to make games. They know how to code and
Yeah.
stuff, but yeah. So I guess it's like, and this is something I hear a lot on Twitter as well, like when people are talking about game schools, it's like I wish like they told me at school, like this is not me, right, but this is what I read. It's like I wish they told me like that I should be making my own games on top of the work I'm doing for school, which is really what you should be
Yeah.
doing, you know.
Mhm.
But it's not like there wasn't like also like at my school that was like not communicated at all. I don't think even like the teachers like realize that or anything.
Mhm.
It's just like they're so focused on. I guess it's like they don't realize it's like a creative field really,
Yeah.
especially indie games.
Kind
So
of
they
treat it
just
like a tech enterprise or something, I guess.
yeah, exactly. They treat it like you're doing like computer science or something, which really is not like what indie games are about. Like
Yeah.
it's one thing to know how to code, but that's just like the means to the end to do the
Mhm.
actual creative work. Um,
What was like the
yeah.
curriculum they gave you?
Um, so they keep changing this, so it will not be like up to date to what it is currently at the school. But we had like a programming. So we had they so the first year they the first semester um they taught us how to do 3D modeling, basically everything, I guess, for like the basic stuff to know how to do it, and then you had to make like a city scene as like the exam, and into to like C sharp, and you had to make a game in C sharp, like a very simple one, just like a clone or something. And then there was like some like a more like theory course that was more like this is what chromatic aberration means, for example. And then there was a business thing as well.
Okay.
And I'm missing one, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, that you have to do like basically in that first semester you have to like from the ground up like learn how to do 3D modeling and everything, and make a whole scene, and make a whole game, and learn how to code like all in one go. I am. It's no wonder like only like 20% of people like
Yeah.
made it past that point. Yeah.
Whenever I hear about, I'm always like curious, like how would I do it? How would you do it? How would you teach if you were in charge of a university? What would your like first semester
Actually,
look like?
I read a really good article by a game teacher about like their theory. So I'm just going to repeat what they said. I have to look it up again, the article. But it's basically, I think you should like what they said is you should like prepare students, not like make them realize that they are already game developers, and not that they're like learning to be game developers. Because I think the biggest problem is most students are gamers, and they have no idea what games actually are. They think games need to be big and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you need to like, I guess, drill in their heads like a game that is 2 minutes is still a video game. Like
Yeah.
not a prototype or anything. Because that I also really hate. That's like a pet peeve of mine. It's always like whenever they do like a school project, it's always like a prototype, and that just reinforces this idea that whatever you make is just like a version of the AAA thing, and then when you graduate, you can finally make your own AAA game on your own. It's like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to make a AAA game. So that is like, I would just make my students make like a bunch of really, really small games, and like let them realize that they're making games. They're not doing like prototypes or anything. They're not like learning or whatever. This is the process. This is what you do as a game developer. You just make games and you're already doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about
that's
like
how I
all
do
the
it.
other stuff outside like art or sound design and stuff? Would you include that in the first semester? Would you give like, I don't know, like what tools would you say for like a complete beginner, and what would be like everything outside of that?
What do you mean?
So like, okay, it's the first semester, you bring in students who know nothing, and you're like, I need to teach you how to make like 5 small games this semester or something. Like, what would you do? What would like your curriculum be?
It's a really tricky question, because the thing is the like the insane workload for my school, like it worked for me. So it's like I have like I kind of instinctively would like just do that thing again, just because it's the most straightforward. But it's probably not a good idea. I feel like this balance of making a video game course that is both like doable, and not like bullshit, is probably the hardest part. I don't know if I have an answer to that, to be honest. I know there's another game school in Belgium as well, which is also good, but it doesn't like it basically doesn't teach you how to work with Unity or like do code or anything. It's just game design from like a weird theoretical standpoint. And I feel like maybe I feel like I've heard that more often, that there are a lot of game schools that are like, oh, we'll teach you game design, but it's like they don't like never let you make a game or anything. It's just like, oh, we'll make a concept for a game or something. Um, so
I mean,
I
at
would
that point, it's
definitely,
like at least do like tabletop or something. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I would definitely like give my students first like give them a lecture about how the game industry is fucked and how you can still run away while you're there. But other than that, I guess I would just have them make games as soon as possible. Like, here's just the basic tools. This is how you make a cube or something, or this is like how you draw a sprite, and this is how you make it move, and like now make a game. You know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it works for most like self-taught programmers, self-taught game devs. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. I guess you have to like guide them through the process of realizing that they just can like make games, I guess, and then you just have them get as much practice as possible. You know, I guess so. I mean, like, yeah, it's like how like when you learn how to draw, you do like a bunch of small sketches, right? So I'll just have them like do a bunch of small sketches, but then like game design. That's, I guess, what I would do.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Let's see. I mean, I thought a lot about after I graduated. I was like, damn, I should have started a game design club at my college. That would have been a lot of fun. And like, I've thought a lot about what I would do if I was starting with like CS people. Then I would just like jump in with something like Godot, because like I would choose Godot because you don't have to sign, like, make an account and sign a bunch of stuff, and like you can just like literally download. So it'd be like a much quicker teaching tool, I think. But
I know we've had this like
yeah.
conversation before, and I would never like teach my students Godot, but yeah, but I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, just like as a first time thing. But I mean, I would probably for the first few games. Well, if it was complete beginners who didn't know anything, I would do probably a tabletop RPG for like the first couple. Like everyone has to make a tabletop game. You have two dice, maybe 6-sided dice. You have a pencil and a paper, and now you have to make a game that uses those things, and it has to take 5 minutes to beat or something like that.
We actually had one of the courses that we had. I think that was probably one of the best courses. Is we had one where you had to design a board game, and like they gave you like make a different version of chess or something. That was a pretty good one, to be honest. But they only did it for like one course. Yeah, they only did it for like one semester. So, unfortunately, but yeah.
Let's see.
Right.
What's going on in the chat? Because I haven't been reading any of it.
Can you give me a link to the stream, by the way?
Oh, you don't? Yeah.
I don't have it open. I'm sorry.
Up.
You started so suddenly. I was like, oh shit, we're live.
There you go. Oh, I guess you won't see the whole chat. Let's see. Okay, so Salman is on. What's up? He's still pissed about his university course. He did not have competent teachers, just a random bald dude with a ponytail that gave us Word docs to follow as a tutorial.
Oh my god.
Slav Turtle was in several game schools in Poland, more like courses. Kanikla, in my country, the game dev courses are kind of a mix of software engineering, CS with digital design. Hi, Ms. My university was even worse. They expected us to be able to make prototypes, but they didn't even teach us programming. I think of all the teachers in school, there was only one person who knew programming. What I think would be useful is to be more thoughtful with the choice of game projects assigned. It to be structured so that students learn all elements of what makes a game progressively, but every next project should include what you learned in the previous. Continuity is key. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for sure.
Make them work in groups and make them focus on an aspect of the game. Maybe alternate. Oh, so you have one person doing art, one person sound design. I mean, that would...
I would like the last thing I would do is have people from like the get-go work in teams. Though.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, especially okay. So this is like as an indie course, because there are of course like courses that are just like get really good at doing art, so you can like work at Blizzard or something, which is also I have my problems with that, but like this for later. But I think like as like an indie course, like I think it's really important that every single student learns how to make a game completely on their own. Like even if they suck at like art or whatever, you know, or like suck at code. Like the whole point is that you know how to make a game, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be interesting if, okay, you do like your first small games by yourself, and then later
Yeah,
on, it's like there are also art people studying at the school and also sound people,
yeah,
and then you could like
yeah,
collaborate, so you get some experience working in a group because I've never
yeah.
had experience working in a group, and I could see that being very useful also.
Yeah, they definitely should do like teams, definitely. I know my school, I think in the third year there's like, or the second year, I don't remember. You start working with like people from the other disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I still feel though like every course, so I think everyone who studies at game school, even if you're just focusing on the art or you're just focusing on the code, I still think it's important that you know how to do both, and that you're
Mm-hmm.
still able to make a game on your own. Just
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I feel like there's also, and there was also in this article that I really have to find, is like the amount of like job openings in the jobs that people actually want to like most of the people that graduate game schools these days, they want to like work at like Blizzard or like AAA companies or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's like crazy because there are like tens of thousands of people graduating game schools every year, and there are like maybe 500 new jobs every year at those
Yeah.
kinds of places, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's like you kind of have to realize that it's like a game dev student, like what you're going into is like a gig economy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you should like be prepared for this. So you should be able to do more than just like. And this is my school was um, really had this problem where they were basically like the art um course focused just on doing the Blizzard style, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much just exclusively the Blizzard style, which is fucking weird. I mean, there are people working at Blizzard from our school, but it's like not everyone can work at Blizzard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you should like prepare yourself as much as possible to like take on different types of gigs and different type of work, because um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit dumb to just like focus on, oh, I'm going to be a concept artist at Blizzard, and then just
Yeah.
all your energy is focusing on being a concept artist at Blizzard, while the chances of you becoming a concept artist at Blizzard is next to none. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen that with artists. A lot of times on Twitter, I'll see artists and stuff talking about how everyone wants to be a character designer. No one's doing environment art. So if you want a job, you should study environment art, and like something
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's yeah, it's dumb, really. I don't know. I feel every everyone who does game school just like at the very least they should know how to make a game.
Hmm.
And it sounds so simple when you say it, but it's like I don't think any school does that really.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um,
Let's see. Uh,
but yeah, also like everyone is definitely a bit different, and like for me, I feel like there are a lot of people that also, there are different types of people working in games, and I think there are like also people that just want to like get into super low level stuff, and that's like
hmm.
their vibe, and they want to do nothing else, and that's like totally fine. I don't want to say that everyone who is like I just want to do this art thing and that'll be what I do. That's totally fine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's like at least game schools should like try to bring more things out of people, and like expose them to other possibilities of where they could take their career. Just
Hmm.
because when I started my school, I was like, oh, I'll only make 2D games and I'll never switch to Unity. And now I only make 3D games and I only work in Unity. And I would have never done that if they didn't like expose me to 3D and Unity and whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
So like the more stuff they can expose you to while still, you know, building on top of things and making sure you're not just learning a bunch of random stuff, is good. I think yeah, the end goal is just like make a game, I guess. Um,
And then you worked at Nitro after you graduated, right?
yeah, I did. I'm actually, so this is also another piece of advice I would give to everyone currently like studying at the game school and looking for the like internship and stuff. Um, I know a lot of people will probably like be applying to AAA stuff because I think most game schools definitely pander to like the AAA crowd. But if you're interested in working in indie, I would definitely like I suggest just applying to jobs at indie places because indie places do not take interns most of the time, or if they do, it's because they won't pay you. And it's like free labor or whatever. But yeah, I just like say like applied at night home for my internship. I just responded to like an actual job subscription, but like, hey, and when I applied, this is I am actually a student. Like for my university, it'll have to count as an internship, but that doesn't really like mean anything for you guys.
Mhm.
And like that worked out well because if you're just like an intern, they'll like at the end they'll like review your performance and then like maybe give you a contract if they can afford it or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can just like skip that step. You can just like immediately apply for a position somewhere.
Mhm.
um, it doesn't always work out, but there's actually I think there's more, especially in the indie space, there's more positions than there are internships. Um,
What
yeah.
was like?
So then
Oh yeah.
So I applied that at Night Home, and then I worked there for like 6 months as like my internship, and then I just like kept working there after my internship, and then I worked there for a year. So yeah.
Um, what was like the interview process like for them?
Their interview process was just first. So I sent them an email. I like included gifs in my email of my games along with like links of them to play in. Um, so because I already had like a bunch of games to pick from, I could like handpick games that were like the kind of games they make,
Mhm.
which really helped, I think.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, your games are really cool. Do you want to have a call?" And then you just had like a chat. And then they give you a test. I think probably every company will like give you a test. Um, and then you do the test pretty much.
Wait, a
And I
test? What does
just
that mean?
Yeah, they give you like with Night Home. I don't know if I can say. I think I can say that. Yeah, like they give you a test where it's like they give you some sprites, and it's like make a game, like make the sprite movable and jumpable and stuff.
Oh.
You know.
Okay.
Um, and then I just like I went overboard and made like a full game out of it, and so then they so then they had to hire me. Um, so yeah, and again, like I was already making a bunch of games while I'm busy at school. It's like it never hurts to just have like I really believe in and I've had like heated discussions with people about this at my school, but I always believe that like especially when it comes to like students, like quantity is like so much more important than quality. If your portfolio is just like 50 games and like they can
Mhm.
be shit, it doesn't really matter. I don't think most people that hire you even play your games to begin with.
Mhm.
So as long as they kind of look good and you happen to have like 50 of them, I think you'll probably get a job pretty much anywhere. That's like indie, I think. Because I think it's kind of dumb that a lot of students they just do like the work that they have to do for school,
Mhm.
and then they have like 5 projects that everyone else who's applying from that school has as well.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I just didn't include any of my schoolwork in my portfolio. Um,
That's smart. Yeah.
yeah.
Damn, I never thought
So
about that when I was doing CS. Probably should have.
yeah, it's really it is kind of fucked because it's not like good for your mental health, but really like the best way to do game school is like to do more work around the school than actually in the school.
Mhm.
Like I think game school should be like a supplement, like a directed way for you to teach all of the skills that you need to help with your games, but you should already be making games. Um, is how I think about it. But
Mhm.
then I also think like it shouldn't be this hard. Um, but I can't like think of a better solution.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Um. Okay, so that was. I'm wondering. I kind of want to ask Salman. I wonder you would be interested in joining this voice call and talk about your experiences, because it sounded like he had a. I didn't even know he went to game design college, but he had a much different experience. It looks like he's saying.
Yeah, I talked with Salman before about like his experience, but I wanna hear it from him, to be honest, if he's up for it.
Someone, are you free right now? I don't know how much delay there is. I always get like weird delays on Twitch.
Hmm.
Oh wait, see, you be up for it? All right.
Alright, cool.
How do I? Can I add friends to DM? Wait, what is this name on? Oh, I can't add to a DM. What does that mean? Can I just add someone to a call? No, it's not letting me search here. Maybe I'll just create a group call real quick.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hold up. How do I do this? Create DM. Oh, I'm not friends. That's why. Okay. Okay, you have to add me as a friend. Okay. There we are. Okay, cool.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, what's up? All right. So, what was your experience?
oh,
Just
it sucked. Like, the thing that was the most draining was having to work with people that had no passion for making a game. They were more
Hmm.
interested in freaking, what's it called, playing games, and it
Yeah.
made it even more difficult to work with them. Which,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as a game teacher, like your responsibility should be like week one, tell people like this is not about like playing games, and if you really like playing games, please like get out or something, you know?
Mhm.
And my school was kind of good at that. They did do that. Like the first week, they were constantly saying if you play World of Warcraft, you should probably like quit, which is pretty good, I think. um, yeah, please
Well,
continue.
yeah, I think I had a couple like throughout my 3-year course. I think we got like 2 games, like 2 assignments to make to make a game, and
Yeah.
they turned into group projects, and those group projects were the most draining thing to ever do. Like you'd make something
Mm.
for everyone to work on
Mhm.
together. They make like I remember one game where I made the character controller, like a bunch of features for everyone to use to make levels with. You know what happened? Guess what? Last
What?
minute they start making their own character controllers for their own levels. They remake everything when it's already there, and then and then I get, and because of like they didn't even make any good levels. I mean, they didn't even reuse the assets that were already there and made. So every level that we were supposed to make looked completely different, used the same different code completely, and the teacher was like looked at my level and said, "Hey, that's cool." And then I got I got graded down because of their work.
It's really, yeah, I feel like this is like the definitely, I think this is just the school experience where everyone that works in teams. I've had so much drama in my school about people working in teams, but almost every time like the games that did well were like the ones that had some people from the indie course in there, just because they were like the only ones that have seen how like both code and art works. And this is like I think why it's so important, even for artists, like even just pure artists, to at least make like a game once or twice, just
Mhm,
so like you get it, you know, because it's so frustrating working in a team where some people just have absolutely no idea what the other person is doing.
mhm,
Um, it's hell, and then like it's like managing just each other, and like you're not even like the game is like you can't even like start thinking about what you want to do with the game. Um,
Oh my
yeah.
god, I just realized they never taught me to use Git.
Wow. Okay. Well, they just never showed you how to use source tree or like any source control at all.
No!
How did you do teamwork then in your
I
school?
think it was just sending each other zip files.
Oh
Oh my
What
no.
the hell?
god.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's how I did it for a while, but I was solo, so I
Yeah,
would just
but
upload my Unity project to like Google Drive every so often.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
And then I learned how to use Git in college, and I was like, oh, this is so much easier.
I think the one thing that that helped me the most, at least from the experience that I did, was being forced to make a presentation every week about what we were working on, and that helped me a bunch in terms of like pitching and being able to have like confidence in the way I
Communicate,
speak.
yeah.
Yeah, and communicate.
That's good. That's good, yeah.
That's the one thing that I'll give them credit for. I think there was one thing that annoyed me. Like in my first year, the teacher gave us like an assignment to make like an arcade game where it was basically uh, he basically wrote us a whole design document, and I was a bit annoyed that the game was like so simple. I mean, a bit boring. So I decided to like throw out the design brief they gave us and made like a whole thing by myself. I was fully expecting the teacher to be angry at me, like, "Why did you go off this? You're getting graded down, whatever." And he was the next week he treated me like I was the design master, a consultant thing, asking me questions like, what do you think about this?" And I was too afraid to tell him I don't want to do this. Please let me just work on my own stuff.
Cause
Mhm.
So what was the name of the college you went to also?
I went to the Birmingham City University.
Mhm.
I'll write it. 1 second. Birmingham City University. I did the games technology course, which they basically put the whole computer. What was it? Everything related to computing, and gave it like a tag, like it's games related.
Mhm.
They probably changed by now since it's been like like I graduated all the way back in 2017, so they must have changed by now.
Be under
It's
computing or under
yeah,
for courses?
undergraduate. I think computing should be computing. It was just called games technology.
mm,
Yeah.
I feel like that is true for like so many of the game courses. It's just like, oh, this is big university, and they'll like just slap on the game course or something.
Mhm.
You know, it's so
Yeah.
dumb. I'm really grateful for that in my school. That was like it was pretty much the school was the game thing, so that was pretty
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
Oh, you found it? I can see it on the stream.
Yeah, this one.
Mhm.
Studying with us in 20. Oh, COVID, right?
I think from my class, I mean, at least the people
Overview.
I graduated with, I think I've only seen like only one other person that's actually in the industry,
Well,
like that does any games.
and how many people graduated?
I think maybe like 20 people. Like in
Hmm.
the first year, there was probably like half the people that left. Uh, I
Yeah.
probably would have been a good idea for me to have left as well with less debt, but I got given a scholarship because of how well my grades were in the first year, and I thought maybe I won't quit now. Well,
How
Yeah, I
much?
mean,
Yeah.
I definitely don't wanna say that like game schools are useless or anything, because like I don't think I got a lot out of them just because as much as I believe in like self-study and stuff and like learning how to make games yourself and stuff, I think a big part of what is schools do is like the networking and like getting you in contact and like food out a bit in like the local games industry, and
mhm.
also just like being like a place you have to go to every day to like make it, you know.
Mhm.
um
Did your course
yeah.
try to get you guys to do like intern somewhere, or like take a year off or
Yeah.
something? I forget what it was called, gap
No,
year. Yeah.
no, our school had it was in the curriculum. So in the third year, the second semester was an internship, which
Mhm.
it's crazy to me that some schools, some game schools, they do an internship and then you have to go back to the school, because like for most people, the internship is their first way to get a game job. So I don't know why they'd like pull you away from that, you know. For us, it was like you do the internship, and oh, now school's over, but you're still working there, and that was like the best way to go about it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. How was it in your
There
school?
was the option to, but the people who did get like any kind of internship were the people who were doing computer science, like the more, I guess, people who are doing, I don't know, something related to criminology. I don't know if that's the word, but they were always
Huh.
they seemed people were and networking people were most likely to get anything.
Right.
And games were like,
You didn't get a an internship.
nope.
Did you?
It's even hard enough trying to get a job in the industry after I graduated.
Oh my god, yeah.
uh,
That's crazy.
bunch of weird, yeah, bunch of weird. Actually, I've got way more stories related to that, but it's kind of
That's pretty crazy because I think you're like super. I think you're like the model student. I think you do a bunch of games.
I
So
guess.
I'd think you'd get but you did work at Madbox, didn't you? After you
Oh yeah, yeah,
graduated.
yeah. They were the first people to actually give me a chance, and it
Nice.
was, and I'm forever grateful.
Mm.
Madbox, what was that?
Hyper casual mobile game studio. It was interesting to find out, like before I joined, uh, the biggest hit game was inspired by there was some inspiration from one of my prototypes, and that game went on to become the biggest game. But yeah, Stickman Hook.
Our games.
Yeah.
Damn, you should like go back and demand royalties.
Stickman
I'll
Hook,
try.
that one?
And the people that I got to know from there, like I'll forever be like thankful for the opportunity that I got. I just wish I didn't have to go all the way to Paris for it.
Yeah, you had to go. Damn.
Mhm.
Because you live in the UK, right?
Yep.
Did you have to learn French, or did you already speak French?
The only French I knew was what I learned in school, and then like just rhyming a bunch of words like discoteca, biblioteca, because it was just so funny to say. And I did learn a bunch, but I was just more, I guess, I was stressing myself out, trying
Mhm.
to make sure that I was caught up on everything, just to not be a drag in any way, shape, or form. Uh, at least it helped. I ended up growing really quickly from it. It was
Yeah, if I look at like the stuff you do now, I can see like the Madbox experience and then reflect that.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Stickman
If
Hook
that makes sense.
definitely looks like something you would make. I could see.
It is kind of stressful, like having to make a game within like in 2 week intervals, having to release a game and
Oh,
trying to
they
have
would
like
do that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'd
Whoa,
have to do like retention tests as soon as possible if an idea works or not. And that's
That's
every
really cool.
mobile studio now, I think. Yeah.
whoa. That's
Mhm.
yeah, that's high pressure, but it's also kind of interesting. I guess that's where.
Yeah. You have to have like a whole core. You have to have your whole core gameplay loop done within a day or 2 or 3 days if you want to push it. And
I go.
it's yeah, you end up
What?
repeating a bunch of you end up developing a bunch of habits in order to just to reach those deadlines.
Mm.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
got
when I
denied
was
people a few times early on.
when I was in London, I had a friend who was working on like gambling games. And it was also like crazy how it's like first they're doing like a big math calculation about how much like how much will this like make and make sure it's like the perfect like math box, until like it is will absolutely make the maximum amount of money it can, and then at the end like will throw like a game on top of it, just like a skin.
I've heard a bunch of studios, think as big as also the developers like Clash of Clans. They
Hmm.
have like a bunch of, and I think Gameloft as well. They have like the internal prototyping teams, and they always end up. I think I've heard that they always end up throwing away the projects because they don't expect it to make this much returns, or like, oh, it's gonna cost like 8 cents per player, or whatever, or something like that, and they say it's not enough. Has to be like
Mhm.
close to $1 billion somehow. And
Yeah,
Jesus.
lots of things get thrown out, and then the smaller teams are like, okay, I have to release this, so we're fucked. Even more stressful as well.
Yeah,
I feel like you're the
that's
only one
pretty
of
good.
us who has like mobile experience, like at all.
Yeah,
Like I don't know anything about mobile games. What's that?
The one thing about it is just trying to scope down as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that you have to like work on is just trying to make like a fantasy that people want to do. Like if someone said, oh, let's make a shopping game, that's probably gonna make people look, I guess. But if you say, okay, shopping game where you have two kids that are trying to, I don't know, buy a PS5 while they're trying to do the groceries, and you have to do like a Tinder type game. I think, yeah, just building on top of like different fantasies with simple mechanics is always the thing, I guess. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where I was gonna go with it, but yeah.
And I know with mobile you can't sell games. You have to always do free to play or something. Like
Oh,
every...
it's not a must, but if you want a higher returns, you more than likely have to do free to play.
Huh. Have you done that? I played some of Punch Golf, but I didn't see anything like that.
I really don't know how that game got featured 3 times. Because I always look at it and say, That's my most mediocre work." Like I prototyped out like the game in like 30 minutes because I was angry about something. I was annoyed, and so just for fun, I thought, okay, let me put it into something where you're stomping or smashing thing into the floor, and people liked it enough where they like my tweet went kind of good. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me add something to it. Then the bushes and stuff ended up looking like, I don't know if I can say this, genitalia. So I had to take out the background art. And well, people still like the game. I think I saw, if once I checked on the analytics at one point, some person's grandma, probably in Austria, has played over 10,000 levels in that game.
Jeez.
Yeah. And there's like only 10,000 possible permutations of levels that could be in that game.
How many like commercial games have you done though?
I don't know really. I've finished too many games and thrown away too many games in my little prototype graveyard.
Yeah, I see a lot of
Yeah.
your games. They're like, oh, I'm not working on that anymore. It's like, what?
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
It's. I think Adam's probably seen way more that I've just thrown away.
Yeah. But it's like, I think, yeah, I think this is also, I think that also goes back to like why you should be doing so much games, just so you can like stop like caring about them. I guess that is the first step to becoming a game designer, is just stop caring about video games.
I see it as like another way, just making sure, finding a way to fail as fast as possible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And you should just like not give a shit. I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
The more you like you detach yourself from that every idea is like worth something, that's probably good. I
Yeah,
think.
but the only reason I was able to even learn that lesson was from, what's it called, being so worried about my hook and thinking, okay, if this, I have to have a backup plan for the backup plan. If this doesn't work out, I'm screwed. And that ended up putting me in a vicious cycle of just starting a new project again and again.
Yeah, too.
But being forced to release, that did definitely help, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Yeah,
two
too.
know each other, by the way?
That's a good question. I guess so, yeah.
Wombat.
Although didn't I already know you before, Josh? I think.
I'm
Oh,
not
thanks for the raid, Jackie.
sure, but
How's it going?
I think
Definitely
not
way back,
really.
but Discord is the answer, I think.
Yes.
I guess I
Yeah.
should edit it to include Salmon in the title. Salmon Shuri. Wow, Twitch just lets you have the longest titles. I love it. For everyone joining the raid, we've been talking to Adam Pype and Salman Shuri about their experiences studying game design in college, which it varies widely. People's experiences, and
Yeah, I remember before I even went to university, there was a stigma when it came to hiring developers from nearby universities. There's something about them being taught a bunch of bad habits that are hard to like break away from people.
Really?
I sent,
Jesus.
yeah.
That is, yeah. I once went to like a conference when I was like looking for my internship. And I talked to I think Ubisoft Berlin. And I was like asking like, oh, about like openings and stuff. Back then, I still thought I wanted to work in AAA, for some reason. Um, and I remember I remember asking them like they asked me like, oh, so where are you for, but which school are you studying? I was like, oh yeah, I'm working at DIE. Like, and they said like, oh, that's really good, and I think you'll get a spot. Like they said like, um, they also said like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of game schools in Berlin, but we generally try and like not to hire them. But like we have bunch of people from your school, so you should definitely try applying. And I was like, oh shit. I don't know if that means that my school is good or like the Berlin school is bad or if Ubisoft are just assholes or all three of them. I don't know. But yeah, that was
Uh,
pretty crazy. Yeah.
my university tried to get us to do like go to places for networking, and they were the most. I don't know if it was useful at all, but it was so awkward trying to get into a conversation and having like trying to figure out what to say in order to make a good impression. But it did teach me that developers love to talk about themselves. Like if you ask a question, they'll keep talking forever.
Yeah,
And
true.
I've never forgotten to use that. I've it's the most useful thing that I've never stopped doing. I even noticed it in myself that I won't stop talking.
But yeah, it's good that they try and give you some networking advice because my school did like not do that like at all. And I think there were like 3 students in my whole school that I saw at like networking events, and then everyone else was just like, I'm too scared to go or something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, were there job fairs and stuff at your college?
Yeah, there was one at my college.
Nope,
Yeah.
on my side.
Oh,
Not on your
Just have
side.
to search for them. Yeah.
Mm.
that was pretty good though that they had job fairs at our school. I think most people at our school got their internships at the fairs, because there were always like big companies there and stuff.
Mhm.
Blizzard as well. Yeah.
Who would? So you said like Blizzard and like were there other companies? Like what were the other companies?
We have a really big one in Belgium as well, Larian. They're the ones that do Divinity Original Sin.
Oh, cool.
They always take on loads of interns because in Belgium it's like the customary to not paying your interns.
That's
So
so
you can just
weird.
get like, yeah, it's really weird. You can just get like infinite of them. So that's what
Sweatshop.
most
Student
game
sweatshop.
companies are just like intern sweatshops. It's really bad actually, the situation. Like I know Valerian at the time, I think they had I think half of them or something, or it's just like not half. I think it's just like a lot of them were just like unpaid interns. But it's like, and then you start to like ask yourself, like, is this really right? You know. But then
Yeah.
again, I do know that a lot of people that were like unpaid interns, they do get like jobs there though.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. That's just the Belgium situation though, and they're going to change. Um, so Format just said, "Does the stream need unpaid interns?"
What's up on that?
Yeah, but it's um,
I've heard like stories. I think Mike Bithell. He mentioned like years back when he did like internship somewhere or worked somewhere. The first thing that they gave him were like the menial type jobs, where it was like you have to like make a whole nav mesh for the pathfinding to work and levels.
yeah,
The
definitely.
yeah.
Almost zero of the internship positions will actually like give you valuable work experience. They'll just be like, "Oh, we have this like menial work to do. We'll just give it to someone we don't have to pay or something." Um, which is
Mhm.
it's fucked up. But yeah, I don't know.
I could use. I wouldn't mind. Hey, can you come in for some menial work? Hey, I need you to go just play through the whole game 20 times and tell me if you find anything wrong.
Yeah.
Walk into every wall and see if that something's broken.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, what else is? Oh yeah, you're all. I mean, I know Adam, you started doing YouTube, and like Salman, you like considered it. Have you? I don't know. Have you looked into it anymore, or like for
Yeah.
self-promotion stuff?
Motivation, that's the problem.
Mm.
I'm already getting I'm being surprised at my schedule in the past year. I thought being just solo developer would make me so I wouldn't have so many meetings. Like studios always have to people know what doing, what's going on, and just being a one-man band mostly, I didn't expect that every week I'd have more than 2 meetings, maybe meetings that go for 3 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. It's draining.
I hate the fucking meeting society that we live in. It's fucked up. And that was definitely now that I have like my own company. We just don't do meetings, um, which is working out pretty well. Because I was definitely like traumatized from working at Night Home, just like the meetings that would take like 3-4 hours. And like going over like our backlog in the Trello board and stuff, and I was
Oh
so
man.
traumatized by it that we don't have a Trello board for Spookware, we don't have any documents for Spookware, and we don't do meetings. We just make the fucking game.
I forgot the term, but there was a thing when I was working in a Madbox. There was always like an inside joke about the demos. Whenever we have to like show the game, the build would break completely, and it happened every single time to me. It was so stressful. I don't know if you had a similar experience as well.
um, we didn't do like reviews and stuff. I think because you're asking about like code reviews and stuff, right, or like QA and stuff.
Or just
Um,
showing something new features or something new implemented.
Oh yeah, I think at Night Home, I think after a while they just kind of trusted me that would be okay, and then I think they were too like preoccupied with their own meetings or something. So I don't know what it was, but yeah, I'm just glad I never had to do code reviews because those sound like they don't work. I don't know. I always hear from like people like at their jobs being like, "Oh, I'll get like a code review and stuff," and I don't. If okay, I get it if you're like Microsoft, you know, but if you're just making like a dumb little video game, then I don't know
Oh, you
what the
just
point is.
reminded me of a comment that I got by one of my producers. I was told that my code was too freaking clean. I separated too many things into their own compartments that it was a bit weird to look at, apparently.
Damn. Your code's
No.
just too clean. It's too readable. You need to make it more messy.
Yes. Mhm.
Let's
What are you
act-
making, by the way?
Oh, it's a new enemy for my game. It's so you're 2 grid squares tall. It's like a mini boss, and it's gonna
Oh
have
my
like
god.
a skull, and then there's like machine guns in its eye sockets. That's the gist
Do
of
you
it.
actually like use like the grid size? Um, do you have like, oh, my character model is 2 grid sizes high, I will
Yeah,
model this. Yeah?
yeah.
Wow,
That's how I
powerful.
helps me keep reference and stuff. Sometimes I'll even put in like a cube, and
I'm not
see.
gonna lie, I was laughing at the start of the stream, just seeing you editing like the horse's butt while talking about education,
Yeah, so
and then
that's
just wiggling its leg to see if the weights were done correctly. Looked like it was just shaking his ass.
yeah. I was like thinking, should I texture or level design, or I was like, I need to rig this and get it working. So I started doing that.
Yeah, they also I remember at our school they were also like they always put a cube that is the size of a human in your scene so everything is like the same size. But now
Yeah,
I just make my models now scale it in Unity and just hope it works out. Because
yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around like scales and stuff in
The
like
problem
modeling software.
the problem for me is if I do that, I get like here's like a terrain mesh, right? And so I do this. Let's see. And then my character's like this small. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I just like put it in front of my camera and then it's like, oh yeah, this is good. It's big enough or something, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think this is.
I still need to
You
get
know,
around to learning how to use Blender. I've told myself
Me
every
it takes
too.
year,
so long.
this time now I'm gonna do it now, but then
Yeah,
something else
that is
happens.
that is my biggest complaints with fucking game schools is they don't teach you how to use Blender, but instead they teach you how to use a program that does the exact same thing, but it costs like a family
An arm
fortune
and a
every
leg.
year. Yeah.
Like I remember being forced to use 3ds Max because
I
there
use
was a
3ds
plugin,
Max as well. Oh my
and
god.
it felt like I was having to use the devil's UI.
Yeah.
Of how that
Every
yeah.
time I click on a button in 3ds Max, the UI, like a random element just disappears for half a second and then it comes back.
Oh yeah, I had to use 3ds Max to do something, and then Maya to export because it had a specific Collada export add-on that I had to use for Sony's Fire Engine, which I was forced to use with no freaking proper documentation. So I was screwed. The whole engine kept breaking every few minutes.
Yeah,
It
and
was
it's really ridiculous because especially now I heard that like most AAA studios they don't even care anymore what app you use as long as you make the model. Like even like
Mhm.
Blizzard and stuff, it's like you can use Blender if that works for you.
Oh, that's
So
cool. I had no
yeah,
idea.
so it's like yeah, whatever. The only reason why like the industry is so focused on 3ds Max is the same reason why the industry still uses Unreal
oh
Engine. I
true.
don't want to I don't want to I don't want to hate on Unreal Engine, but it's like I feel like a lot of it is just like it's like all these companies, these big companies, they've designed their whole workflow around these apps, and
Mhm.
like they can never change it. It doesn't matter how expensive 3ds Max will become or how awful. Like they will always use it just because it's like their whole thing is 3ds Max.
I'm
Mhm.
not gonna
It's
lie, I was so happy when I used Unreal Engine for the first time, and it was just because the tools were actually working. As the first thing I had to use was like I was coming from using Unity 5 at the time. That
yeah,
was the
Oh
okay.
only
man, I
pet
remember
peeve I
that.
had was like too many menus I had to go through just to change like texture to bilinear was it instead of pixelated whatever look that I wanted to get.
Yeah, can I just say, holy shit, I want to use Blender now? What you're doing right now, Miss, is I've this is exactly what I've wanted to be doing my whole life.
It's great. I
This
mean,
is crazy. Holy shit, I need this in my workflow. This would
Is
speed
it
up
a
like
third
my
party add-on?
modeling.
wait, how do you model if you don't do this? Are
I
you?
just I do the same thing where I just use like an image of a horse and then like I don't give shit about like UVs or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like I just throw it on there and then I just move every vertex to like the right spot pretty much.
Uh huh. I used to do that, and then I learned about this, and I was like, oh man, this is so easy. I can just like
Yeah, and
paint
it
things.
doesn't even waste UV space because it will be like because it doesn't this like the image isn't even oh my god. I need to okay, am I writing this down? What is
This
this
is
called this
stencil
mode?
painting. I had been thinking
Stencil
for a
painting.
while of doing like a sequel course to my retrographics one, and then I was gonna teach this, but then I don't need to now because I have money, so I'll
I
never
think
do a
I'll just
course
like
on it.
install Blender, like model my thing in 3ds Max, and then like open it in Blender and do my texturing in Blender this way.
Yeah, I mean, why
Uh,
not? You already know the tool. Why learn something new? And this isn't hard
Yeah.
to do. You just once you've like I don't know set up the UVs or whatever, then you can just bring it in here. You just go into UV painting, go to stencil paint mode, bring in your images, and you'll have to learn the basics of how to paint this, but it doesn't take too
Yeah,
long.
and honestly, I don't like I really don't care that much about like optimizing UV. I know at my school there
Oh
was
yeah,
like in every pixel of the IV needs to be absolutely perfect, but like
yeah. I
every
don't care about
texture in
that.
Spookware, there are like models in Spookware where it's like 20% of the texture is actually used and the rest is just
like they commit a
bullshit.
Yeah,
bunch
who
of
cares?
UV crimes.
But yeah, but it doesn't matter because everyone's computer is strong enough anyways. Who gives a shit, you know? If it
Yeah,
starts lagging, I'll optimize it. But
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but the UV window scares the living daylights out of me.
This
And the
one.
closest I used a tool called Sprite Tile just so I wouldn't have to look at it. So
yeah.
accidentally opening up like 20 UV editing windows in Blender.
Oh my god.
And
And the 3ds Max UV tool is like if you hide something in the UV and then you close your UV, like it
Oh,
will just be like hidden in your scene and you can never get it back. Unless like you put a new UV thing on it and like unhide it. But if you accidentally like um undid your like UV stuff, you will never get it back. Like you're just like your file is broken because like all your stuff is just hidden and you can never get it back. And it's just. There's also like multiple parts in the app where it's like you know that if you press that button in that way, it will always crash the app, and you just like you always have to do this weird workaround just because it's I don't know why people use 3ds Max. It's really
I've had that experience with Krita recently, actually, where one of my workflow things is I've been trying to make so textures are like certain light or darkness or whatever, so it like contrasts with characters. And so what I would do is I would scale it down to 1 pixel to see what like value that pixel is, how dark it is. But if I scale from a 1024 image down to a 1 pixel, it instantly crashes Krita. So I have to scale to 4x4 and then to 1. It's like really
Oh my
random. Oh yeah, back on the university topic. I remember I was like originally going to study game design. I was like fully planning on doing it. I was like looking into colleges and everything. And then I think I started seeing memes about how awful it was working in the industry. Like people were like making like comics about like haha burnout, haha, you know, low pay, stress, crunch, and all this stuff. And I was like, wait, this sounds bad. Do I really want to do this? And then after
then you just didn't.
yeah, I was like, and then I started hearing about like software developers barely work. It's super relaxed and they get paid tons of money. I was like, maybe I should do that. So yeah, that's what I did, and I do recommend it for other people.
Yeah, and I mean I think everyone that works in games they know that their life would be better if they didn't work in games, but
Yeah,
you just I guess you just kind of do it because you wanted to, I guess.
yeah,
Mhm.
passion.
Oh wow. Okay, I looked away for a second and then I had the horse butthole in my face, looking at the stream.
Yeah, texture painting and stuff now. What's everyone been working on also? Not sure. Oh,
You go ahead with Spookware. Tell us spoilers.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything. But completely unrelated to Spookware, I've been learning how to do multiplayer stuff, which is pretty cool.
I remember
Finally.
you using Mirror at one point.
No. I was going to use Mirror until a friend of mine warned me that I should just use Photon, and now I'm using Photon, and it's really nice, and I would recommend it. The best part about Photon is that your game is just like it'll just work, and you can just like connect to a room without having to like do like IP stuff, which is really cool. Because like the games I want to make are like the ones that are like, oh surprise, it's actually multiplayer, you know.
uh-huh.
Which is pretty cool because with Photon, like you won't like know necessarily that you're connecting to like a multiplayer thing. But yeah,
Wait,
it's
so
like
you're doing multiplayer in Spookware?
I'm just learning multiplayer stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but it's really cool. It's like I'm really happy that it is surprisingly easy because I have so many ideas for multiplayer games.
Yeah. You see Lemming in Gorilla Tag Dev, that was his first game and he just used like the basic Photon tutorial to make it basically.
Yeah,
Gorilla
it's
Tag.
really crazy how much you can do with just like the basic stuff. Yeah, I would definitely like recommend it to anyone, to be honest.
I've
To
always
just
just
like
wanted to
try
make
it
a
out.
co-op game.
So,
Yeah,
Tried a couple times.
I have like a big list of like cool ideas. What I'm doing now is I'm making like just like as a test I made where you have a dice and if you throw it like your pawn moves forward, and the other person as well. So you kind of do a race. But if you throw one, you get a gun and then you can shoot the other player and then it'll move back some spaces. So it's like dices with guns and it's pretty fun to be honest.
Dice with guns.
I've been wanting to turn my the stealth game immersive sim game that I've been working on during my free times over the past couple months into a co-op game, but I've been too afraid of all the extra things I'd have to add because it's like already got a bunch of AI stuff and fitting into all of that stuff is annoying.
Yeah, I definitely think like multiplayer games you have to like build them from the ground up for multiplayer. I don't think you can just like slot and make them multiplayer. Vicky just said
Definitely.
that he made an online multiplayer game with Miro. And I have to say, Miro is good. I heard from people that it is good, but just like for my use case, it's just like easier to do Photon, I guess.
Oh yeah, I did make what was it? I made a local, kind of local multiplayer game for Air Console a couple of years back, and it was the most stressful thing that I ever did. But I'll do as if you want to lose weight the easy way, just make a multiplayer game.
Yeah, that's really cool. I want to maybe like learn a VR game and then get some exercise while I'm doing game dev.
I want to
Crying
do
in the
VR.
dark corner. Why doesn't this freaking character move?
I want to do VR, but I'm afraid of the whole continually have to take off a headset and put it back on to debug things.
Yeah.
Virtual desktop is pretty good if you
Uh,
just want to keep wearing it. Kind of nice. If
Oh
you have
right.
it, that is. I was using it wirelessly to do PC VR, and it was so much fun. Just to be able to take out the wire and just use my Quest as a wirelessly on the computer.
oh,
Oh, that's
gotta
pretty
try
smart.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I also, luckily enough, like I discovered early enough that there's like a plugin for Unity, so it like copies your project and then you can open it a second time to do like multiplayer stuff, which is super cool because the normal workflow is that every single time you test something, you have to build your entire game, which is fucking insane. I don't know how can anyone works like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I heard about, yeah, for multiplayer, you have to build, or when I was trying out multiplayer stuff, I would have to build the entire game to set up a server and then run it a second time in Engine to like run it through it. Or like run through it, see if it works. It was such a pain. I don't know.
The closest
Who's-
I've been to doing VR dev was trying to do like Google Cardboard, and I did it for an assignment where I
Oh,
just
don't
took
link
like
it, by the
random
way.
Unity.
Send
Oh,
the link
no
in chat so you don't get banned because I auto
Oh,
kick linkers. So.
I don't know what he's asking me to link though.
All right, sorry. Continue, Solomon.
Get a page for. Oh yeah,
Thought
yeah,
my mic
okay.
was off. I just turned it off. I was
It's
just
called
saying that.
it's called Parallel Sync. Parrel Sync.
Well, all I was gonna say was I made like a VR game where you don't move at all, and it just had like a gorilla right in front of you, and
I
a
think I heard about
dinosaur
this.
above your head. And
Yeah.
I just gave it to people to test it out, and then they would look at the gorilla right in front of them and go, "Well, that doesn't look scary because it's far away." And then I would tell them behind their ear, "Look up," and then they would see a massive dinosaur looking straight down at them, and it would scare the living shit out of them. And it was so fun to do that. It was so fun to just see the shock in people's eyes. I mean, couldn't see the eyes, but the mouth opening
Yeah,
wide
yeah.
and going, "What the flip?" Shaking about, nearly dropping the phones.
Oh yeah, Google. Man, I remember Google Cardboard. It was like ages ago.
Yeah.
Did that ever like go anywhere, or was it just
Not
like a weird
really.
experimental thing they did?
They did some kind of dreams platform. I think they did something where they were trying to say Google Cardboard was supported on a specific device, but then they stopped doing it. I think it was called Dreams. I don't know.
I thought that was a PS5 game.
Oh no, I forgot that. Maybe I'm just getting the name wrong, but it was just Google's own. They tried to make a little VR platform of sorts. Yeah, Daydream.
Hmm.
Right. I think Google Cardboard was, for what it wanted to be, a pretty good success. I think it was just like, this is like the cheapest VR for,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's an
You
interesting
can only do
idea.
8-directional look, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, 6 direction. I don't know what to call it. No positional tracking, just like rotational tracking, which is kind of limited.
Oh, that dinosaur gave me flashbacks to the Sealed Estate jump scare. Oh, I remember Sealed Estate. That's pretty cool.
I remember seeing one streamer. I was in their chat and I told them not to click. I told them not to click anything, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Then they went up to a random window, and a door like animated down into the screen, and as I told them not to click, they, without thinking, they just clicked on the door image, and they started hearing a random noise that scared the hell out of them.
That's really good, man.
Yeah.
That reminds me. There's one game I want to make about I want to do like a horror game where there's like a door, but like you can never get into the door, and then when you shut down the game after a while, like after 2 minutes, because you can apparently you can intercept like Alt F4 and stuff, so it doesn't actually shut down the game, but you think you shut it down, and then after like 2 minutes, like the same door appears on your desktop, and you can just like click on it, and then it's like jump scare you or something.
Oh, that's good.
I felt like you were trying that a bit with No Plays Online.
I tried it, but it didn't make it in the final cut. Yeah, the real ending to No Players Online was just a jump scare, and that was it.
I remember I used to think like, oh, jump scares, that's for lazy developers. And then I put one in my game and I was like, oh, I see, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I definitely think like not every game should have a jump scare or whatever, but it's yeah, I don't know. It's mostly I'm like I can't play like horror games just because I don't know if there's going to be a jump scare, you know, and I'm just like stressing out the entire time, like oh shit, it's gonna scare me. Oh no, but yeah. And then I think the best one, like you don't actually need a jump scare to make a game scary, because
Yeah.
just the thought that there might be one in there is enough for most people. Yeah.
It was interesting with Seal the State. I didn't think it would scare anyone. The only thing, well, the only experience I learned from trying to make a horror game was it's scarier to read about horror than it is to experience it. Like I don't know, it's just like you're making the TV in your head as you read like bunch of creepy pastas and
Oh,
you scare
yeah.
yourself. Yeah, your own imagination is scarier than what other people could just come up for you. At least that's what I learned. But
Yeah, true. Hey, Miss, what are you doing right now? How come it's going darker when you're sampling from the texture?
I'm using multiply to paint.
Oh,
instead of
right.
mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. I really need to fucking download Blender now. Holy shit.
I'm surprised how like influential my retro graphics course has become. I get like so many people. It's like this course I made in like a week, and like I like forgot about it except for I mean that it paid rent for like a long time. But the fact that like I don't know, so many people have been like doing it, and like even I mean the Gorilla Tag developer learned how to 3D model from it. He said, and
Wow.
like so now John Carmack has seen my art sort of in a way because he talked about Gorilla Tag, and then he was like complaining about the graphics. I think it was like not something you'd really expect from a VR game. um, yeah.
I'm always reminded of his what was it? This quote about porn and like stories, saying
Oh
no one
yeah.
comes to porn for stories, they come for the porn, and the things that like no one comes for the story in games. But yeah, I'm always reminded of that.
Yeah, he said.
His name gets mentioned.
What was it? You expect there to be a story, but it's not the important part. So we're not going to put a story in this game we're making or something. I think it was Doom. Different era of games. Now everything's story.
Yeah,
Say-
it's good though.
Yeah, it's fun. It's different. Phasmophobia
Yeah.
does horror well. It's the anticipation of a jump scare and then the jump scare itself. Phasmophobia is really cool. I think I told you about how it was like, Phasmophobia is like procedurally generated horror puzzles, kind of, with jump scares mixed in.
I'm too scared to play any horror game, even though I want to make them.
They stopped being as scary once I started making them, I think.
Yeah,
I
definitely. I've never been jump scared by No Players Online or whatever, but I mean, yeah, it's always that's like the coolest thing about making horror games is you really think your game is not that scary,
Yeah.
and then someone messages you like this is the scariest game I've ever played, and it's just
Yeah.
like hilarious because it's like how do you find this scary?
What was it with Endoparasitic, my jam game, I was like surprised how many people were like finding it like the most intense thing, and people were like, wow, I was like sweating, I was so stressed out. I was like, really? It's just a little game I made. All right. Anyone in chat have questions, or anyone have anything else to talk about? I'm out of topics, I think.
I had a little question. It's like, when you guys started making games, what kind of games did you think you were gonna make?
MMO. That was
Yeah.
I was an MMO. I wanted to do it with a unique combat system, and it was going to be amazing and genre defining or whatever.
I don't know, to be honest, because it's such a long time ago. But the first game I made was a mobile game, so I guess mobile games.
I thought
But
I was
yeah.
gonna make like narrative epic games. Not like the first thing I wanted to do was become a writer, but then I couldn't be. I got bored of writing books, so I thought maybe, hey, I want to animate. Then I learned that it takes way too freaking long to animate. And then I thought, okay, I'll do films. And then film is too costly to do. I can't even do that on my own. Okay, what about games? I could put all those interests into games. Just to end up being working on mostly mechanical focused games
Yeah.
and smaller scope games. with very story.
Yeah, for me, I think actually when I started making games, I was really into like the beginner's guide and stuff. So I think probably I wanted to do. I think thought I was just going to only make walking simulators or something, which is actually kind of true.
The
So
beginner's
yeah.
guide. What's that?
Oh, you don't know beginner's guide? I think
No.
it's my favorite game.
That game
It's
made me cry. Freaking hell, I never expected
yeah. It's really good. It's like 2 hours. It's like a walking simulator, but it's like a game about walking simulators.
Huh.
It's really good. It's made by the guy who did well, one half
Stanley
of
Parable.
Stanley Parable. Yeah,
Ah.
Dave Regan.
Oh, I forgot to mention that was an idea I had for horror, was to do something like Stanley Parable, but like horror. So
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
like enter the
I,
room. The player does not know, but they will be jump scared in 3, 2, 1. Or something. And then
That's
it's like,
really
wait,
cool.
the jump scare button broke. Hold on a second. Okay, wait, it should be working now. And then, oh wait, no. And then you jump scare them out of nowhere. I don't know. That's my
There
idea.
was a game that kind of did that I played recently called Superliminal, and it's a pretty interesting game.
I've seen Super. I didn't know it was horror.
It makes you. It try. Okay, I don't want to. It feels like a spoiler.
Okay,
It's
don't
just
say
like
anything.
what. Yeah, they tried to trick you a few times of what kind of game it is, and it succeeds when you go in knowing nothing.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, now I guess I've been spoiled.
Yeah, I
Puzzles.
just where do you
Not the
where did you
puzzles.
guys where do you guys want to see like games like become like in like 30 years? Because like right now we're doing like suddenly right now like the game sphere is doing, I don't know, fucking God of War and shit, you know,
Yeah.
like big budget movies, but they're video games. So like where do you want it to go in like 30 years time or something?
I guess I would say things more democratized, like ways to make development easier, and for more people to be able to join in. Because I don't
Oh,
think
definitely, yeah.
I'd be making games if there weren't like people out there that made it easier to make games, like made a bunch of tools to make it possible for someone who's a complete beginner, starting from nothing.
Yeah, I'd like to see more like how it is with guitar or something, where everyone plays guitar, and it's like just kind of a easy,
Yeah.
fun thing to pick up that you can enjoy. And I'd love to see that with games too, where it's just like everyone makes games.
Yeah.
It's just like a fun, easy thing you do. Of course.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I want to get to that point where everyone just, it's like drawing, you know.
Yeah.
People just like make games because it's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I recently found out about some app called Pype that tries to call itself like the TikTok of games, where people make like a bunch of games using its tools, and then people could swipe around like as if it's a TikTok video, and then click to play that game.
Interesting.
And then they have the option to take that game code of sorts, and then remix that.
Oh, that's really
So it's-
cool.
It's a really cool
It's like
idea.
a bunch of remixing things. Yeah.
That would be really interesting to design for, because you'd want to make something that's like fun in like 5 seconds or something. It takes 5 seconds to just have fun with it, kind of thing. That makes
I'm gonna
sense.
download this app and like steal micro game ideas.
hmm
That
I only
was
found out about it because of some like this one guy that accidentally like released some stats from Voodoo a couple years ago that was like very non-disclosure. But
Oh,
he
no.
made the mistake and made like a whole YouTube video on it.
Oh,
I don't know
damn.
if he deleted that video, and I never unsubscribed from that guy just to see if he'd make a similar mistake ever again. And I learned about Pype through his channel, since I think he was like some build box developer, and then he switched to talking about Pype. Wonder if he's around.
Oh my god, Hype looks great.
Oh yeah, I'm really interested in more like these no code required engines, and like someone
Yeah.
you
I
used what was it called, a construct, right?
Yes.
Like very not code required.
Well, if
This
it,
looks so cool.
the way I think of construct is it's like, you know how IntelliSense like tries to tell you ways to quickly do something correctly in some ways.
You just
I
can't
think
look enough.
I look at construct as a super IntelliSense, like a more souped up version of that.
Yeah, I definitely think in the no code thing, definitely like AI and natural language processors and stuff is gonna make that possible. I think with like GPT-3 and just being like, oh, I use GPT-3 now like daily to like make code for me, because it's just like a tool. But that could definitely like turn into. I can definitely see like in a year or 2 years time, like GPT-3 will be like reliable enough to be like, oh, I want this character to move when you press forward, and will like do it for you. I
Is
think.
that the same AI that's being used in that GitHub thing? I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, GitHub Desktop. GitHub Copilot. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same AI. I think that is probably how it's going to happen. I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh, this looks so cool. I wish I could download it, but it just makes me like sign up.
Oh,
It's
there's a
only
download button up top. Oh, there's a web. You could try web.
web.
Try
Oh,
web.
there.
Top
Okay,
right.
cool.
Top right.
Best experiences on the app. And if you click the app,
All games here are made by people like you. Swipe up.
how do I swipe up with the mouse?
Go on, try
I'm not gonna
swiping
lie,
up.
I saw how people could code in the what was it, app. It's a bunch of node graphs, and nothing like pisses me off more with like scripting than having to work with nodes for visual scripting, unless it's for visual stuff.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
problem as well
can't
with visual
swipe up.
scripting is it's a good way to learn it, but after a while it's just, oh, this is just like more annoying than writing code, but I'm doing the same thing, you know?
He's swiping up and nothing's happening.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it worked that time. Okay, we have prop hunt. Play. Time left 20 seconds. Okay.
Okay, The Room. Oh yeah, Adam, didn't you make a game that was inspired by The Room or something? I forgot you made something.
Oh yeah, VHS 1986. You mean that one?
Yeah,
How do you examine?
I think so.
I lost. Hider's turn. Try to hide. Blend in.
I was just reminded because the game's called The Room, and then just get out, whatever quote is in my head.
Okay.
Oh hi, Mark.
I can't transform into anything. Okay. I don't get this one. I don't like prop hunt. How do I go to the next game?
Yeah. Oh,
Find the hider. Oh, do you just like swap?
pizza
with-
box on the floor.
Oh, there we go.
I wonder if
think
it
it
has
is-
multiplayer. So I think one person acts as a camera operator,
we
and
go.
the other one just moves.
Oh, you can move. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, this is too much work. Can I?
It's
swipe?
interesting how much people think how difficult mobile seems when like designing a mobile game. When like I feel like the biggest thing to make it easier is think of ways to like limit the number of inputs you have in a game,
Yeah.
and that that limitation breeds like a lot of creativity
Imposter.
you wouldn't expect.
Well, this is all done with Node. I wonder if it preloads everything and then it like preloads the next 5 games so you can just swipe down and like.
Well, it's a bunch of remixing, so there's probably got to be a lot of shared data one way or another,
Let's see.
and people could copy
does
bits and
take
pieces from other games.
Takes like half.
I think it just loads it instantly. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, phones are powerful these days.
Damn, that's pretty cool. I wonder how much data it takes though to like download one of these games. I mean, I guess you have all the assets and stuff. It just has to send like nodes or the like the script or whatever, probably compiled.
I do know that. You know how I think I forgot something to do with Apple where I remember for cloud streaming games they were saying something about having to uh make like an actual App Store page for every title. I wonder how they get past that. Or is there a restriction?
Canicula just said that their experience with Copilot was pretty shit. That's a shame to hear. I really want to get access to Copilot, but I think just like the codex directly is much better than Copilot. I'm not sure because I always use it and it's pretty good to completions. So maybe that's why I'm not sure.
This is cool.
This is pretty cool though. I want to
Yeah,
start making games for this.
I'm
Fuck
fascinated by
Spookwave,
this.
this is a new game.
Oh yeah, Adam. You know with Spookware, did you ever consider a bunch of tools when it came to writing dialogue? Originally, like at the start of development.
Oh, using tools to do the dialogue.
Yeah, like was there
Oh,
anything that stood out to you that you thought you'd use but didn't, or things that you wanted to
uh,
use?
no, because I wanted it to just be like, I just wanted to like be like in Unity when you select a boy you can make him say something, and
Mhm.
I know that all of the other stuff was like a layer on top of that. But I regret it now because localization is pretty much impossible for Spookware now. So, well,
Yeah, the reason I asked was I found a tool recently that I was waiting for, made by the developers of like this football manager type game called Football Drama, which was like I don't really like football that much, but I got so into the game watching like a bunch of numbers and dice basically being thrown in and just watching it move. But I was looking into the like tool that they made. It's made by the developer. I think it was co-developed by the guy who made
Like-
Dot Tween. The Unity, what was the add-on that's very popular? I just linked it. Looks pretty cool. I might make. I was thinking of trying to make a little detective game where you only talk with your fists, and I'm thinking of doing it this weekend using that tool.
I prefer to solve my problems with words, except the words are my fists.
Yep.
Oh, this is all the stuff you're talking. Let's see, Sprite Tile. Oh, this reminds me of. Have you seen Crocodile?
Yep. I think that's what inspired it.
Hmm.
Instead of like being its own tool, this is just like working with the tools in Blender.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this before. It looks really cool. Like such an easy way to apply textures and stuff. This would be like so fun to have like a good artist to work with. Oh yeah, I remember looking through this. Oh man, that looks cool.
It was so nice to use it just so I wouldn't touch the UI editor. The UV editor. UV editor, what the hell am I talking about? And it's just like selecting a tile and then selecting a face to paint that tile in. It's pretty good.
This is Parallel Sync. I need that for Godot. I really want to do multiplayer. We need something like Photon and Godot. But I hear they've like really improving the multiplayer in the next version, where it's just going to be like you like just click what you want to be synced with everyone, and then it just is.
yeah.
Oh, the story flow editor. Does this work? Oh, 40 minutes. I'm not watching that. showcase thing?
I've always looked at a bunch of. I've always tried to look for a bunch of tools that would be useful for writing dialogue and possibly being able to localize it. And I found one called I forgot what it was called. It was something dialogue, and it was interesting to find out it was made in Godot.
Godot.
And yeah, and
What's Godot?
Godot, Godot.
Okay.
Yes.
I think Godot,
But it-
Godot is an official way to call it as well, though.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. They made ping pong in here. This is cool.
Ooh. Well, you can steal that for a mobile game and just remix it further.
Hey, Adam, this should be in Spookware.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm just
honestly.
gonna use this app to steal microgame ideas, man. Since I can't steal them from Nintendo, that would be too obvious. I have to look for other sources.
You'll get canceled one day. Adam stole my microgame from Pype, put it in Spookware. I should get paid. Don't
Oh
mock.
god.
This is
I
actually
wonder
pretty
if some
good.
people have made like a bunch
Alright.
of meme type content in that platform. So now people would be trying to get people to look at their games, and they're trying to earn something from Hype.
You get
At
paid?
least with their monetize. I
Okay.
think so. I think they're trying to do some kind of monetization in order to make it sustainable.
Yeah, that would make sense. What's the next step? I wonder, because I know TikTok's monetization is terrible. Like, I don't know. Unless you, like, do sponsorships, but I didn't want to do sponsorships.
I think they like pay out people out from like a pool of money that they have set aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
It's
creator
gonna be
fund.
less and less.
So yeah, the more people are on there, the less money you make, basically. It's kind of an interesting way of doing it, I guess. Instead of, I mean, there's ads on there. It's like, why not just give people a cut of ads or something? I think we're just hanging out now, which is fun.
Oh yeah. I was just reminded of the bunch of games that I wanted to make prototypes of. I'm just looking through my ideas dump channel that I
Mhm.
have on my Discord server. That's very private. I'm just reading a game called Binding of Isaac meets skateboarding. I've got one called Bullet Hell plus Runner meets tennis. Baseball platforming shooter with pseudo turn-based
Huh.
mechanics.
What? Wait.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like small, quick descriptions.
Baseball
with bullet
first
point.
person shooter sounds fun.
Yeah. I think I had one game. Oh, I think there's one called Racer meets Bomberman plus Snake. And it's a little quick GIF with like a car with bombs attached to its back, and then collecting a bunch of bombs like a snake.
I have my game ideas document just has like the one about misremembering, and it's like I just need to like remember what that meant,
I think I have a notes file on my phone with a bunch of ideas, and I think it's like that as well.
Yeah, I really want to make like every one of them.
Okay, that just reminded me I have a little notebook that I never touched. That's always on my desk, but it's filled with a bunch of game ideas and lots of empty pages.
Powerful. All right, I'm
Powerful.
gonna go grab something to eat because I'm like starving.
Good
Probably.
idea. All right.
I was supposed to eat before I joined the call.
Uh-oh.
I'm probably gonna end the stream now. I got a bunch of stuff I need to do.
Hey, what's Wombo App AI?
Oh, that's really
Okay.
cool. Yeah, I think we talked about it on the stream before. Remember, I like did steampunk or something. I typed in steampunk. Oh, never mind. That's This is something different. Yeah, you get a face and then you put in a video, and it just like syncs it up.
It can generate textures. That's weird.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, wrong AI.
Oh,
yeah. It was the wrong
prefix.
one. What was the other one
Oh,
that
yeah.
had?
I think it's app.wombo.art is the one where you give it a random word and it tries to turn it into something else.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
dream.wombo. Yeah,
yeah.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Type
this
in
is. I'm
like
really excited when like this technology will start getting really good, because it already is, but you can't get like full access to this stuff, because I feel like most of the things it generates right now are like very like dreamy and weird. But I feel like in like 2 years time they're going to be like really good, and
Mhm.
that's going to be great, because then I don't have to make textures anymore for my video games.
I think Unity has some kind of similar tool that they've been developing, I think called Art Engine. I wonder how
Yeah,
that's going.
yeah. You have to look up like DALL-E.
Mint as
Um,
NFT is an option. Oh my god.
oh my god.
Coming soon. All right.
Mint has the NFT. Oh my god.
First person baseball shooter. Okay, that one doesn't look very cool.
Yeah, you should look up like DALL-E and hold on. There's a new one as well that's even better.
Red Panda
Um,
says it takes a while to find the correct keywords for textures, and then you also have to make them seamless, which is some effort. Huh, interesting.
What is this? Doom meets Animal Crossing. This
What
would be
in the hell?
weird.
Oh, it's just Doom guy,
Doom
and
guy,
then a
and then
dog
there's
in
like a
front of a
dog.
burning house.
It's like a
Yeah,
pug.
burning house. Oh, they're surrounded by flames. Wow.
Kind of interesting how it interpreted that. It was like it knew that a dog is like the most famous character, but it didn't like take that dog. It took like just some weird dog.
Mhm.
you should check out the DALL-E thing. I can't use it yet, but it's pretty cool. That is like where like this technology is like going. And I think it's gonna be pretty fucking cool once it works like well enough. I posted in chat.
Make a game with purely AI generated textures. That would be really cool. Oh yeah, 3D model generator. If you could do something like, I mean, not game ready, but like lower, like poly, so you could just import it without having to.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be interesting. I wonder how you could do that. How could you train an AI for that? This, I forget what this one's called. No, that's cool. All right,
I think I found. Yep.
time
Yeah,
to go.
I am. Yeah, my
Alright.
stomach is grumbling.
Me too, me too. Alright.
Oh, this is the one you said, Dolly. Okay. Whoops. Create images.
I wonder
from
how
text.
much corporate art can be generated
What?
from DALL-E.
Oh wow, that looks clean.
Yeah. And they got an even better version now, but I forgot what it's called. It's from the same blog, but I can't find it. Where it's even higher res. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool when they like release this as like that people can actually use it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how
Damn.
quickly they have to go through so much data to make this viable.
Jeez, it's crazy. Machine learning at like a high level is such a crazy, like, incomprehensible thing to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool because they're like at this point they're starting to, they're making like things that are like pre-trained, so they don't have to like train them anymore. They just like they know everything, kind of, which is really cool. Like how
Mhm.
like GPT-3 is like base trained on like a big chunk of the web, so they just have like a general knowledge of almost everything, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's still
AI
not there
scares
yet,
me.
but yeah.
The reason it scares me, it's like how the amount of ways it could go wrong. Like I've heard stories of like I think when it comes to imaging, at least with the cameras, like how cameras early on wouldn't notice black people,
Mm. Mhm.
and either they would dark them out or think that they're part of the scenery somehow. I think I've heard of stories where I don't know facial recognition always and it's just because there's not enough like data. It's like
Yeah.
mostly biased data that. Yeah, well, yeah, problems can arise without
Yeah.
meaning to.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
problem is that it's like the same people like are making the tech or designing it. It's like
Yeah, I think right now like the number one issue they're trying to solve, I feel, is like making them not racist, which is already like a good sign.
It was that Twitter bot that Microsoft made that ended up
Yeah.
turning into a racist Nazi.
was it Tay?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Tay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like instantly within like a week was tweeting like
Yeah.
Hitler quotes. It was just like oh because it
The
yeah.
problem is just like they're training all of their AI on the internet, and the internet has the worst content. It's really
12 hours to say Hitler was right.
Yeah.
powerful. All right, I
Powerful.
gotta run, but
Yeah. All right.
this is
It's
cool.
fun.
It was
Good
nice
luck
chatting.
with your horse.
Oh, thank you.
It's looking really good.
Very emo.
Yeah. Very emo.
Yeah.
BDSM.
I love that
BDSM.
you're using like a model holding a chain.
Yeah, this
for
is
this.
like the best image of the chain I could find.
Powerful. Are you using like public domain stuff, or
The what? Oh
are you
yeah,
using
yeah.
like
I use like a copyright, like royalty-free image site. You can do whatever you want commercially with it, and then I just, yeah, I just bring in those images and use them for textures and stuff. I mean, I doubt anyone would even notice if I was using non-public domain stuff, but it's whatever.
Yeah, it's cool. All right.
See y'all.
See ya.
Gotta run. Bye bye.
All right, that was a fun stream. I'm gonna go raid someone. I need to go do stuff as well. And that was fun. Who should I bring on next week? Not sure. I have people I need to message, I guess, about it. I'm gonna do like another location-based one, like I did last week. Who should I raid? Classic style MMO. Sure, let's do that. We'll raid you. And yeah, have a good one, CZ Terrifics. And all right,
That one stood out
See
as
y'all.
needing some work. But all of my other notes have just been addressed by the fact that those aren't actually his animations. There you go. I like that one.